Welcome to the Thursday stream. Hope everyone's having an awesome Thursday morning. Yeah, saw that little slick move there as I put on my headphones. Hope everyone's doing alright. Hey Cheeto Andre, how's it going? Stream starting soon is an anagram for strongest animators. Huh. Alright, let me... Oh, quick question. Alio coming in hot with the 23 biddies. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. How's it going? View chat. Alright, chat. Let me bring you up over here. Sweet. Alright, folks. Really quickly, can somebody confirm to me? Because I've had to, step out for a second. Can somebody confirm to me if they were able to hear the starting soon music? Yep, I heard the music. Hey, we fixed it. We fixed it, folks. We fixed it. Excellent. Although now I can't see my little soundboard. Okay, hold on. Yeah, I had to, I use like a very cheap tablet to work as a basic soundboard. But yeah, hey guys, we did it. We did it. We did it. Alright, folks. Thanks for the shout out, of course. Okay. Let me just get this out of the way. And let me bring up Discord. Oh, I'm so happy that we got the sound working. To be quite honest, I have no idea. Hey Heat, how's it going? I still have absolutely no idea what happened. I'm thinking that maybe the USB sound is not the USB sound. The USB port is not working, so I replaced my little USB hub. You can't hear? Oh no. Folks, can somebody confirm? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear everything? I can hear you. Okay, sweet. Sweet, okay. I also downloaded Stream Elements plugin for OBS, so yeah, USB hubs can burn out sometimes. Yeah, maybe that's what happened, because there was some weird stuff going on with audio, and that had to do with my interface, I think. And by the way, I'd like to introduce everybody to our very own special, a difficult bot. Okay, this is our very own special, a difficult bot. So we're making little adjustments, little tidbits over here. Gonna BRB. The sound isn't working for me. Yeah, try refreshing it. KDS Shine, how's it going? All part of the robot takeover. Drew. Thank you, I appreciate that, Heath. Thank you. Okay, so we do have some. Oh wait. We do have some. We actually missed the video yesterday because we couldn't hear anything. So I know that we talked about it a little bit, but I feel like we still can. Hey Memius. I feel like we still can. I still feel like we can go back and watch the video. So let me start pulling some of these guys up. Oh, come on. Yeah, the Trillionaire video. Hey, Cheeto and Ray with a gifted tier 1 sub too. A difficult bot? Oh, okay. Number one, I appreciate that, of course. Thank you, Cheeto and Ray, because that does support the channel. But yeah, congrats, a difficult bot. You did it. You did it. Okay, let me pause this for a second. Thank you, I appreciate that, Cheeto and Ray. Remember folks, you guys are what makes this channel grow, and any and all support is much appreciated. I'm happy you guys are here hanging out. Bots are my friends, true. I can hear you, I can see you. Hey! Play a random riff on the mandolin. Okay, we got one of those. Excellent, excellent. We're gonna definitely do that. I think we should probably start with that first, right? Hola desde Argentina. Buenos días. Buenos días. I appreciate that, Milanuka. I can hear you. I can see you. More music, más español. Okie dokie. This is a bilingual channel. I will respond to you in Spanish, English. I'm not very good at speaking Portuguese, but I can read it and I can understand it. Yes, bots are friends, folks. Bots are friends. Okay. Let me bring the mandolin, and we'll get that one out of the Sparrowhawk, which is, I hope Sparrowhawk comes through, because there is one mandolin rift that I owe, so I can either, if they come through, I'll give them the choice. Thanks for the follow, I appreciate that. I'll give them the option if they want to refund those points, because I completely forgot about Sparrowhawk's redemption. So let's just knock this one out before I forget. So give me 1 second, folks, and I will be right back. Plus, who knows, maybe we'll get a kitty cat. Hear the music too, this is all good. Hey, thanks for the follow. Oh yeah, okay, I saw that. Portuguese, yeah, I can read and I can kind of understand it. But I can't speak it well. Okay? I can't really speak it that well. We're gonna use some chords of a familiar song. If I can make something up. I think that might work. This is stolen off of the progression, meaning the same notes as Mad World. So aha! Now we got something. Okay. We did it, folks. We did it. I'll drop 100 channel points to see that happen. Now it's gotta do Devils Down in Georgia battle with Bleep Blop Ben on their instruments. Oh my goodness, can you imagine? Can you imagine? Oh, wait, does the... Oops, sorry guys. Does the, Guys, you need to make that happen. You need to make that happen. Because wait, isn't one of them done with a banjo? I mean, we could figure it out. I can play the parts of, I can play the parts on the maybe on the mandolin if I get skilled enough at it. Maybe if I get skilled at it, and then we can do a Discord stream. A Discord stream where we have that together. Because Discord might be a little wonky, but I think it can happen. I'll drop 100k channel points to see that happen. Start practicing now. El amo hizo. Okay. I love it. I love that. Or I love it, right? Eso. Because ISSO is the equivalent in Spanish of eso. ESO. Or I would love that. I love it. Oh, okay, okay. Eso. It. Yeah. Except for us, it's ESO, ISO instead of ISSO. No work, I'll play today. Oh, sorry, folks. No. We are a very, very serious channel here. Very serious channel. We definitely do have a few things, but hey, you know, I still enjoy hanging out with you guys. Okay, that's one of the main things, right? I think with all the nonsense going on in the world, sometimes this is a nice break. Cute animal video. Okay, we definitely have that on. We definitely need that on queue. Let's see if we can find one. The funniest animals? No, I want cute animal videos. Cute puppies doing fun stuff. Videos for cats. Cute baby animals. What about cute baby animals? The only Portuguese I know is "Ai se eu te pego?" Like hit? Okay, we got one. We definitely got one on queue. From someone and ran into problem with work and now I don't know what to do, and there's a saying they might send someone to my house. Well, I mean, that probably sounds like something that the authorities should be alerted about. So I hope you're alright there, friend. Check out Pinsir, it's pretty useful. I taught myself Japanese a few years ago. Yeah, I mean, I know like words, so absolutely it's a nice break. Only Portuguese I know. Oh, okay, got you. Yeah, so I know words, and Spanish is my first language, so I'm pretty good at at reading, writing, and speaking it. But sometimes I was never taught the inner workings of it. So I can speak it, I can write it, kind of. I can write it how it sounds, but funny enough, my girlfriend's really good at working out like the grammar behind it. So I mean, I can tell you words, I can teach you words. Patapo sounds like a joke. How do you say what size tire do you need? Que tamaño de llanta. Yeah, there you go. Hey. There you go. ¿Qué tamaño de llanta necesitas for need? ¿Qué tamaño de llanta necesitas? There you go. Alright, folks. Focus. Focus, folks. We've got, hey. Hello? Excuse you. Where'd my, news go? Okay. Alright, so we have the cute baby animal video. This is, just for DMCA purposes. That's adorable. Okay, that's just adorable. That's just adorable. Oh. Spanglish, yeah, I know Spanglish too. In South Florida, especially in South Florida, it's very necessary. Spanglish is Spanglish is like the third language. Aw, that's adorable. I know some Spanish, and it's usually me and clients mixing English words. Yeah, exactly. Ah, that's adorable. The little fishies. That wasn't a real monkey? They lied to us. That wasn't a real monkey? They lied. Aww. Which Spanish is best to learn in Florida? That's a good question. Cuban Spanish. Cuban, the pug. Cuban slang, I should say. Cuban slang. Cuban slang. That's adorable. Oh no, kitty. Oh no. Get yourself out of there, little dude. In ancient times it used to be cats, but now I feel it's pretty even. Yeah. I think that, I mean, we pamper our cat. I mean, our cat is... I came in a great point. Adam, hey, animals. Yes, Madame Defarge, how's it going? I mean, we pamper our... What the heck is that? Okay. Oh, they're little, bees. They're little bees. Yeah, they're baby bees. That's right, spread it forward. Aw. The panda. Yeah. Alright, folks. And Germany and Canada and the Philippines and Brazil. Oh, you mean like COVID or Timon and Pumbaa? Oh, these guys are super cool. Alright, folks, we need to focus. By the way, those fish are super cool. The reason why I think they're cool is because they're actually is because they're based on one of my favorite Pokemon. Have you seen the video called Cat Flip? No. That fish that we just saw where the dude put like a sticker of sunglasses is based on this Pokemon is based on that fish. Alright, folks, focus. We've got a few things to go through. I'm guessing that they were confusing intelligence with sentience, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. But yes, they absolutely do have intelligence. They absolutely do. Or was that fish based on the Pokemon? True. Cat Flip, nice. Yeet. Yeah, like, so cats are super, like, animals are super smart. More than we give them credit for. More than we give them credit for. Like, oh, good lord, why is this here? Why? I don't want this advert. Can I stop this? Add choices. No. Stop. I don't want this. Ugh, sorry guys, we're gonna have to deal with that. Yeah, animals are more intelligent than we give them credit for. Alright, we did it, guys. It switched the advertising. We did it. I mean, our cat is incredibly intelligent. Our cat will tell us when she's hungry. Our cat will our cat knows what the handle is to a door and what it does. Our cat can easily, if she was so inclined, could probably learn to open doors. She knows how to get behind window shades. Like, she's incredibly intelligent. Seamless slime. Now you put food on the same pieces. The same place as subway stops, it automatically figure out the most direct routes. Interesting. Interesting. Protecting human babies and babies of other species. Yeah, absolutely, KTS. Even, like, there's been, I saw a video where, like, even the cat, the mother cat took in, like, baby ducklings. So, yeah, of course, there's countless and countless of evidence that, like, hey, Memmius, how's it going? Countless of evidence that, animals are incredibly intelligent and understand and are sentient. I mean, have you guys seen the incredible intelligence of the octopus? I mean, those guys are just incredibly smart. They solve puzzles, they do all kinds of cool stuff. You train their cats to press buttons for food and water. Yeah. They know. They can absolutely be trained to do so. Humans designed several ways to go extinct. Some people call that intelligence. True. Hey, Memias. And elephants. Yes, elephants actually hold funerals for their dead, and are do remember. So yes, they have like pseudo funerals for their dead. Crows and their related cousins, like magpies, are super intelligent. I mean, those guys will remember faces. Those guys will even bring you gifts. If you give them food, they'll trade you shiny objects for food. I mean, if I was trained to press buttons, I would argue that's not actually intelligent in this instance. Yeah, I mean, aren't we kind of trained to do so? I mean, what is exactly our jobs, right? Especially if you're like me, who just does like, oh, the cat's here. Hello. I guess I'll activate the kitty cam in a second. Who are like me, where I'm trained to just press buttons and follow certain scripts, which are buttons, right? I'm literally just trained to read the exact same script. Aren't you trained to type? I guess reading isn't intelligent. I mean, your cat heard you talking about intelligent beings. Kitty cam, activate! True. We do have a kitty cam. Right now she's messing around in my closet. In my studio closet. I don't know what she's hoping to gain from that, but once she settles on a spot and wants to hang out, I'll activate kitty cam. You know you can... No. He's under my desk. Okay, I hope she doesn't just pull the plug on the stream. But if you guys if the stream dies, you know who it is, okay? You already know. Yeah, that's true. Okay. There's a big part too. Most animals are pretty good problem solvers, especially when it comes to getting food. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, that's built into them. And this duck was chasing this other duck for saying obvious didn't want it, and we were so confused. My goodness. Alright. Okay, people. Let's do this. Alright? News. Focus. Focus, fam. Focus. We didn't actually get to watch this video yesterday because of the sound issues, so we're gonna start with this.
The increase in billionaires during the pandemic and the depression, and it's not pretty. So this is originally from the Washington Post. They say, the number of newly minted and reissued billionaires soared last year, Forbes reported Tuesday in its annual ranking, an accumulation of personal wealth that stands in sharp contrast with the widespread economic struggles unleashed by the pandemic. The number of billionaires on Forbes' 35th annual rankings swelled by 660 to 2,755, a roughly 30% jump from a year ago, and 493 of them are first-timers. 7 out of 8 of them are richer than they were before the pandemic. Forbes calculated net worth by using stock prices and exchange rates from March 5th. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, with an estimated fortune of $177 billion, topped the list for the 4th year running. Tesla chief executive Elon Musk came in number 2 at $151 billion. The shares of both companies soared last year, largely contributing to both men's net worths and causing them to toggle for the richest man title on various lists. Now, there's another article. I think we probably covered this previously, but I needed to refresh my memory on this, and I looked it up. Apparently, by 2026, which is very soon, not very far away now, is it? By that year, it is very likely somebody, and they actually point out Jeff Bezos in the article specifically, will be a trillionaire. A trillionaire. Trillionaire. Let that sink in. So I'll give you some more information. They point out in the article, quote, as a class, billionaires added about $8 trillion to their total net worth from last year, totaling $13.1 trillion. Wow. The United States has the most billionaires, 724 of them, extending a rapid rise in wealth that has not happened since the Rockefellers and the Carnegies roughly a century ago. So like the robber baron era, the Gilded Age. In the United States, the top 400 wealthiest Americans now own the equivalent of 18% of GDP in wealth. Twice as much as in 2010.
What?
Do you understand that? The 400 wealthiest Americans in 2010 own 9% of GDP, which is insane. 400 people with 9% of GDP. Now, it's double that. The 400 wealthiest people have 18% of GDP in wealth. 400 people, 18% of GDP in wealth. 400 people. A fraction of the top 1% have nearly 20% of GDP in wealth. I've gone over these numbers before, but this is very similar to what happened leading into the Great Depression with income level. So when the U.S. was relatively stable economically and we had the golden age of economic expansion in the post-World War II period, the top 1% would earn about 8 or 9% of the nation's income. Top 1% would earn 8 or 9% of the nation's income. Leading into the Great Depression, that number was the top 1% was earning about 23% of the nation.
So, number one, what? That's beyond, so as I was saying yesterday, that's like beyond unsustainable. It's unnecessarily ridiculous. Yeah, exactly, Heat. So I don't know if you noticed, but the kitty cat is staring at the door. So our very intelligent resident cat is telling us she wants to get out. I will oblige.
Income. Way out of whack. Leading into the Great Recession, it was about the same. It was about 23% of the income going to the top 1%. Now they're telling us in terms of GDP. So this isn't necessarily income, this is in terms of GDP. But this is insane. Even since 2010, they've doubled their share of wealth. And at the same time this is happening, people are falling into poverty all over the country. You know, we've gone over it in detail, but even pre-COVID, about 78% of the country was living paycheck to paycheck. Half of workers were making $30,000 a year or less. Tens of millions of people don't have health insurance.
Correct. And like this is the problem with having an unsustainable amount of income inequality, right? Yeah, how nice. Oh man. It's getting worse in India and USA as well, and Germany, Canada, and the Philippines. I still don't know what you're talking about, friend. But they just want to hold on to what they're untrue. Too nice to show the kitty who's boss. Oh yeah, no, she knows. Wealth gap is massive here in Canada. I read a stat yesterday that 71% of Canadians favor of taxing the rich. True. I mean, yeah, the Nordic countries have it more or less figured out, kind of. I think that they at least moved in the right direction. I'm not sure I can open that link, my friend.
at least 500,000 people are homeless in this country. And by the way, if they ever get rid of these protections, these COVID protections from evictions, that number is going to skyrocket. Foreclosures and evictions are going to go through the roof. There's another article that came out recently which pointed out that now Wall Street is basically buying up all these properties and then basically jacking up the prices. And we have an artificially inflated housing market at the moment. So do you understand that? They'll buy up the properties and they'll like outbid each other, these Wall Street firms, and then artificially inflating the housing market, and then they rent it out to people at exorbitant rates that they can't afford. Or if somebody wants to try to buy it, they charge them a ridiculous amount that they can't afford. And nobody has money. And we had a depression and a pandemic. We still have what is effectively a depression and a pandemic, and here we are. So ask yourself this question. How can it be? How can it be? We have a pandemic and a depression, but the rich are getting way, way, way richer. Way richer.
Yeah.
Is that acceptable? Is that fair? Is this because of merit? Are they just working harder?
No. They just happen to fall upon the windfall of people who need it. A windfall of basically this situation where people need essentially methods of getting stuff delivered. And guess what? Amazon is the biggest in that industry. Amazon is the biggest in that industry. So of course, I mean, unbelievable. I should have taken pictures, but Walmart increased their prices 4 or 5 times last year. Yeah, because people need some of these items. Income inequality is a bit better there. Yeah, of course. These more or less like Nordic countries are moving or have implemented policies that are at least stepping in the right direction. And they increased their profits by 120%. That should be considered price gauging. Yeah, especially during these times. That's beyond Memmius. That's wild.
Than everybody else? No. And people are onto the trick now. They understand. Hey, this isn't a meritocracy. They didn't just work harder. Plenty of people who are good people who work really hard and try to provide for their families, they got the rug pulled out from underneath them with this pandemic and this depression.
Yeah. Hey, listen, folks. How do you think things are gonna look as income inequality gets worse, or if it is allowed to continue in the way that it is? Imagine like people who saw what happened in the 2008 more or less housing crisis, and then now in 2021 are on the cusp, or in some cases have lost everything again. How is that? How do you think this is going to pan out? The point is, Congress and the current administration, they need to figure this out. They need to seriously sit down and think about the steps necessary to course correct this, and they need to do that with as one of the top priorities. As one of the top priorities, I think it's up there with making sure that we manage COVID and stamp COVID out. We make sure we steer the economy to improve the material conditions of people. This unsustainable level of income inequality is getting beyond sustainable and getting beyond ridiculous at this point. And climate change, that's where we need to be at, right? In terms of our focus, in my opinion. Did you get my DM? I mean,
and now,
no offense, my dude, but it's kind of hard to open it's kind of sus, especially, I'll check it out later in my own time, because I've already been messed with in terms of links and stuff like that. So there's a reason why links are shut off. So I'll vet that link at some point. So it's like no offense to anyone in particular. I just want people to understand that because I've been DDoSed before and things like that, I'm perfectly okay with like not touching links unless I know. It is a very safe, famous website. I understand your concern. Yeah, I can like check that out at point. Or hey, look, Spread It Forward is willing to check it out or vet it. And if so, they can post it. And if so, Spread It Forward, just copy paste the link.
Now they're starting to understand
Mod Squad.
how unfair the system is. So if you want to know who's really screwing you, it's not some poor brown or black person who has no money and no power. No.
Right.
It's the billionaires.
Right.
It's the corporations.
Right.
And it's the fact that they bought and owned the government and rigged the policies against regular people. And that's what we have. Did you know that it was about a year or two ago, for the first time ever, billionaires paid an effectively lower tax rate than your average working person? An effective lower tax rate than your average working person. How insane is that? That's a regressive tax system. That's what that is. There was the Rand Corporation.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is clearly evidence of a unsustainable system. I mean, I'm sorry, folks. Like, this just isn't acceptable. This is not acceptable. How could we have this gross level of income inequality and not have a way of remedying people's material conditions, right? This is unacceptable. We can't even have a conversation about some type of universal healthcare system. His link is just a World Meter website measuring the... Oh, it's the COVID cases. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we definitely understand that cases are increasing everywhere. However, I suspect that if everybody does their job and everybody understands and listens to the science, we will hopefully be moving in a good direction by the end of this year. Okay, I can only speak for what I see here in the U.S. and the policies that the U.S. Implements. I can only speak for that, but I think that if people listen to the science and people do what they need to do, we'll be on path for a better direction as this year ends. It's accurate day by day. Yeah, I've seen this website before. If it's the website that I'm thinking about, the Worldometer. Yeah, there's sections of the U.S. that are just being devastated. Naomi Klein's book, documentary Disaster Capitalism, has justice some of this. I need to add that to the list. Hold on. Notes. Where am I? Notepad? No. Not notepad. I had notes.
Study, which I cite all the time now. $47 trillion was stolen by the 1% from the bottom 90%. Since the mid-1970s. If you just kept the pay ratio the same, then working people would all have $1,144 extra per month for their entire lives.
Documentary.
If you had the same pay structure as the post-World War II period as you do today. So the bottom 90%, everybody in the bottom 90% would be $1,144 wealthier per month for their entire life.
Unbelievable.
So the rich have stolen effectively $47 trillion from the bottom 90%. That's where we are. This is unsustainable. And we don't have basic social democracy to ameliorate these ills. We don't. We need it. We don't have it. We don't have universal healthcare.
Oh my
We don't have
goodness.
free college.
Carpet packs. We have a massive carpet packs raid. Hey, welcome everybody. Good morning, Bubbles. Hey. Yeah, can you please not DM people? I would appreciate that. Carpe Pax. Carpe Pax. How's it going? Good morning. Did you see that through the 20 years we were in Afghanistan, we spent $1 billion per day? Unbelievable. Oh, so we did Calamarks. How's it going? Howdy, howdy. Um, we went over like the supposed plan to evacuate, not evacuate, but withdraw the active known combat troops there by Dorian Sapiens. By September 11 of 2021, right? And the most infuriating piece of that article was that they knew for a very long time. Thanks for the follow, Kalo. They knew for a while that their military presence wasn't going to solve the situation there. And I think like Memo for the Record and us, Memo for the Record and I had like a bit of a mulled session about how like the most infuriating part about this entire thing is like it was all based on a lie. Okay? It didn't even fix the problems it was supposed to fix. And so much death, destruction, and debt. As I said, the three Ds. So much death, destruction, and debt. It's just like unbelievably infuriating. Please follow and subscribe. He's a good egg. I'm sometimes a good egg, sometimes a bad egg. It just depends on the day. But yes, please follow and sub. Mugwilm, how's it going? Good morning, Progressive Hammer Dragon. No, I completely agree. Pretty good, how are you? I'm okay. I'm hanging in there. Not to mention climate change from all the resources wasted by the military in the 20-year war. A rotten egg, yeah, there you go. But are you an Easter egg? Yes, I'm an Easter egg. Unironically. If we get a trillionaire by 2026, they'll be so powerful they wouldn't even have to use their money. The threat alone would hold weight. Yeah, if there is ever a situation where we have, where we become so out of whack, where there's a trillionaire, where there's an unironic trillionaire, I think that's not good. That's gonna lead to some yeah, that's just it's already bad enough that there's somebody on this planet with 177 billion. While we still can't get healthcare, we still can't even have a conversation about healthcare, let alone trying to address all the other myriad of issues when it comes to trying to get people some type of education, some type of healthcare, some type of housing. I mean, we can't have conversations about this. And what I mean is Congress, the leaders at B, supposedly, aren't addressing any of this. War is very profitable. That's right. They're saying that we'll likely have a trillionaire by 20. Yeah, the article says it. But I mean, if Congress doesn't make moves to address this and to seriously improve the material conditions of people, it's going to be bad. I feel like I believe there's someone far wealthier than Bezos, but they have enough power to hide their wealth. Maybe. Who knows? India is trying to enact a tax on all companies that profited during the pandemic. Modi isn't going to do it. I mean, unbelievable. Unfortunately, a lot of Indian millionaires are filing to tax havens to Dubai to run away from India's taxes. Yeah, well, a lot of companies do that here too. Is there a way we can like maybe have an international coalition to address tax havens. Maybe that's something we can do.
Law, we don't have higher wages. Here we are. This is unsustainable. Look out.
Thank you. It's unsustainable. I haven't heard Kulinski in a while. I haven't heard Kulinski in a while, but in this segment, he is correct. We'll have to vote so hard to counteract all the political power a trillionaire would have. Yes, so we would have to vote so hard that that the entire country we would have to have 100% participation, and it would still never be equivalent. I find it helps to illustrate how wealthy it is to refer to a billion as 1,000 million. Billion makes it sound so small. But we need to forbid companies to sell stuff made in the US or India if they don't pay those taxes in the countries. Yeah, like some type of international coalition where we can begin to address like those tax havens. That might be an idea. Yellen wants an international tax minimum, but like, yeah, I've heard about that. I think that's a great idea. To give perspective, or to give a better perspective. Hey, Radical Maniac, how's it going? To give a better perspective is simply to say 1,000 million. 1,000 million. $1,000 million. Thank you for the follow, Kavas Residue. Indian billionaires increased their wealth by 35%. True. I believe it. That's happened here too. The Justice League was always a cautionary tale. All the characters have imaginary powers except for Batman. If you're wealthy enough, you can do everything he does and more in real life. I mean, yeah, that's true. Iron Man is another example, right? VAT taxes would also prevent corporations from offshoring their accounts. The US is one of the few countries in the world without a VAT tax. Okay, I mean, I'm not going to pretend I know economics very well, or how the impact of a VAT tax would domino effect on the economy, or how that would be deployed. But if the effect is trying to prevent corporations from offshoring their income, then I would be in favor of that. All right, folks. Yeah, we just had to go back and redo some of these, and redo that video because unfortunately yesterday we were having some audio problems. I'm thinking it's a USB issue. Whoa, where did my OBS go? Okay. Some USB issues, but we it seems like we fixed it. Let's just preemptively tax Mars before every millionaire flies up there. True. Hey, there we go. There we go. Blue no matter who until it hurts. True. The correct way of solving the problem. Just keep voting blue, folks. Although I have to say, like, on that note, I really think that the Democratic Party needs to step up massively, because I fear that what's going to end up happening is on 2022 they're going to get wiped. And as painful and as frustrating the Democratic Party is, there is, I believe, and it's infuriating, but I think that ceding power to the GOP is worse. But it's incredibly frustrating, and I think that they really need to step it up before we head into some really, really murky waters and dark territory, if I say so myself. Correct. If you're the first and only company on Mars, there's no way to properly be taxed because no one can verify your output or enforce the law. Correct. I feel like I say this every day, but in 1944, all income above 2.5 million in today's dollars were taxed at 94%. Yeah, and guess what? We had a booming economy. We had a great economy. So there's a perfectly good example in crisis times if we do things right, we can navigate out of this. We can. The idea is, because like right now, this is like this, right? It needs to be like flattened out, okay? Because it's getting way, like the pyramid or whatever is getting way too thin and way too pointed. We need to do whatever we can to kind of start to flatten that down, because this is just beyond ridiculous. This is beyond sustainable. Exoplanetary tax code now. True. Alright, folks. It's going to fall under its own weight. Yeah, precisely. Why we need to address that. And if the Democratic Party right now has the capability, has the power to do it right now. If they don't, and if they continue to focus on issues that don't really necessarily improve people's material conditions, we will find ourselves in some very tough territory. I'll say that. They're afraid, yeah? All this time I thought Elon wanted to go to the moon and Mars because it's cool, and now I just realized he just wants to evade taxes. True. Oh, man. And they are afraid, I think so. I think deep down, like, we're seeing some... He's such a Chad. But then it would apply with its own state lines. Yeah, better collect it at the federal level and remit to states. Okay. My personal take is that Elon wants to have peons on Mars. I mean, he did say that there could be a indentured servitude type system where he could provide the ability for people to go to space. However, they must work the land until they paid off their debt. You must construct additional pylons. Aw, man, now that is a throwback. My personal take is that Elon, yeah, I think that he has mentioned it before. I saw something like this on The Simpsons. I just wanted to be excited by technology and science and space again. True. Oh, the Gooberminator. Space Force. Hey Memo, how's it going? Yeah, oh hey, you know what, Carpe? You can go to work for a labor colony on Mars. Sign here. You know what? You know what that reminds me of? Has anybody played the game Red Faction? Has anybody played the game Red Faction? Good to see you're healthy and happy. I appreciate that. Nope. I highly suggest that you guys play Red Faction. And then tell me if it's a good idea. And then tell me if Elon's plan is a good idea. Early destructible map game? Yes, that was revolutionary in that time. I have Red Faction. Star Trooper intensifies. I have Red Faction. In fact, when I started streaming, one of the initial things that I did was play Red Faction because of the politically charged message behind it, right? It was a big piece of my video game experience. It was a big part of my video game experience, and it also has a political message behind it. Red Faction 2 is decent. I never played any of the sequels or spin-offs. I've only played the original. In fact, somewhere in my room, there is a perfectly working PS2 with the original Red Faction CD. I mean, I have it on Steam. I bought it up on Steam. I have it on Steam, so one of these days I'll go back to playing it. There's countless of tax havens in Europe and worldwide. Yeah, that's true. That's why I think that maybe there has to be some type of international cooperation or coalition to stop these tax havens. Alright, folks. Let's focus. Antarctica's Doomsday Glacier close to tipping point. The glacier could be melting at key points anchoring it to the land. A robotic submarine has returned from the dark underbelly of one of Antarctica's largest glacier with chilling news. It could be melting faster than we previously thought. Every time we do like a research study on any of this, it just never seems to be good. It just never seems to be good. The Thwaites Glacier, a gigantic ice shelf in West Antarctica, has been on climate scientists' radar for nearly 2 decades now, but they didn't know just how fast the glacier was melting and how close it was to complete collapse until researchers sent an unmanned submarine below the ice shelf. Yikes. The first measurements ever performed in the dark waters under 74,000 square miles. Under the 74,000 square mile chunk of ice revealed a disquieting piece of information. A previously underestimated current of warm water is flowing from the east, whittling away at several vital pinning points that anchor the shelf to the land. Our observations show warm water impinging from all sides on pinning points critical to the ice shelf stability, a scenario that could lead to unpinning and retreat. The study authors wrote in the paper, which was published April 9th in the Journal of Scientific Advances. In other words, the entire ice shelf could get detached and then flow into the ocean. As one of Antarctica's fastest melting glaciers, the Thwaites Glacier, cheerfully nicknamed the Doomsday Glacier, has lost an estimated 594 billion tons of ice since the 1980s, contributing to 4% of rise in global sea levels since that time. Just this ice shelf alone. Unbelievable. The glaciers act like cork in a wine bottle, stopping the rest of the ice in the region from flowing into the sea. So Thwaites Glacier's collapse could potentially take the rest of the West Antarctic ice sheet with it, causing a 10-foot rise in global sea levels. Yeah, so this is bad. The TLDR is that this is really bad. This is really bad. We laugh to keep him crying. True. This is okay. So, as we were talking about some of the climate change news yesterday, part of the problem, because the ocean is incredibly vital to climate change, right? The ocean has so much. It's so intertwined with climate change. Not only does it harbor currents, precious ocean currents that essentially drive weather patterns, but they also hold they also hold a lot of heat and carbon as well. Yes, desalination is incredibly worrisome. Desalination destabilizes the ocean currents which run our weather patterns. You check Seaspiracy on Netflix. Ooh, is that a documentary? Not to mention the impact on ocean biomes. Yeah, which, newsflash, folks, they keep us alive, too. The ocean is, I know this is hard to believe, but the ocean is a great source of food, okay? And the ocean being in a bad state also triggers other domino effects. We also learned yesterday that even as these ice shelves lose mass, it actually has a pseudo effect on how gravity works with these ice shelves. So there's even a domino effect that relates to that. It is just unbelievable. There's reverse osmosis that's doing some things. Don't get weirded out by the use of piracy on the name. Okay, I'll check it out. Most fish could be left alone. Yeah, we have, at this point, unsustainable fishing practices. The fishing industry is responsible for half the plastic in the ocean, mostly from discarded fishing nets. Yeah, which is also a problem. So yeah, all of this is perpetuating, climate change is going to cause a lot of problems in the near future. So for those of you that are just coming in or haven't really watched this channel a lot, I tend to put climate change on the forefront, where I tend to talk a lot about climate change, and I stress the importance of of listening to the science, and I stress the importance of organizing and getting people aware of the severity of the issue, right? I try to bring awareness from credible sources to make people understand the severity of the issue, and we need to pay attention to this, right? I love that we're being told it's an individual's problem, though. Jesus. Organizing what specifically? Like, for example, well, this is kind of like anecdote Andy type deal. I live in Florida, and I can literally walk behind. I can walk to a sea wall that's being built. I can literally walk to a seawall that's being built. I could one of the things that we can do is make people aware of the ramifications if this continues. That seawall isn't gonna hold, okay? And just plaster that everywhere. Plaster that everywhere and anywhere. To make people aware that this is happening in their backyard, okay? I think that organizing people to educate them and to illustrate the severity of the issue, and then use that to draw political power to try to address this. That's what you can do. I feel that we're raised to ignore shit around us until we can't breathe anymore. Well, I feel like a lot of I feel like there is a section or a piece of there is a piece of it where I feel like people don't want to acknowledge the severity of the issue, because once they do, they realize how bad it is, and it's like a self defense mechanism where they just completely shut off. I think that there is a piece of that, but I feel like a lot of ground can be made if we get people to understand the severity of the issue. People think that this is some ephemeral thing that's coming down generations from now. That's not really a problem. It's over exaggerated. I feel there's a good conspiracy going that they want a bit of climate change to open the northern shipping routes. Well, there's some, like, with everything, there's some truth to that, considering that Russia is very excited about being able to take advantage of that. By generations, they overstate the time frame. It's just one generation. Yeah, not only that, it seems like, which is perpetuated by things like feedback loops and domino effects that happen, accelerate this. So all of a sudden, when we thought it was, I don't know, to give you an example, when we thought it was like 30 years from now, actually it's about 10. So, yeah. Sometimes I'm riding my bike and get amazed about the amount of trash people throw on the side of the road and how wasteful most society is. Well, Pete's a part of the puzzle is to address our consumerist economy and understand that this consume is not sustainable. This planned obsolescence is not sustainable. Oh no, it's all good. I agree, Callow. Yeah, this idea that this idea that, oh, it just takes the action of us individuals, and we together can solve climate change, was a lie sold to us. It was a lie sold to us. No, there are things that we individuals can do, but that is but a drop in the ocean, okay? That is a drop in the ocean. Our entire state can stop throwing away garbage or limiting plastics, and it still wouldn't do anything, okay? Somebody mentioned there are 70, oh yes, Kal-El, 70% of emissions are just 100 corporations. I think we know where the problems are, but we've been, corporations and interests have astroturfed the airways to let us believe that it's our individual responsibility. Because of course there are I'm not saying that there aren't things that you can do as yourself. Of course, and you should. It's healthy. It's good. But to seriously address climate change, there has to be a political will to do this. And the only way you build that is by organizing and making people understand the reality of the situation. I hate when they use more packaging than required. Yeah. Exactly. Because there's a huge interest. There's huge interest at play here. We can switch to more sustainable stuff. We can get rid of plastics. We can move to a sustainable system where we don't need oil-based plastics. We can use hemp, okay? Hemp alone can, like, replace a lot of these, toxic and destructive, plastics, right? And we went over another article, about how, like, all these microplastics are being, are causing an issue, and thanks for the follow, Astral Storm. I appreciate that. Yeah, we need to push, again, have the political will to push for hemp alternatives. I mean, that's what I mean about getting organized and making people realize the severity of the issue. Hey, if there's a ballot initiative that can be drawn up to replace plastic bags or plastic containers with hemp and open up a hemp industry. Incentivize the hemp industry. We had huge issues with finding a bank who didn't think we were drug dealers. Yeah, exactly. Incentivize hemp industry. Yikes, KTS. Yeah, there you go. Wow, amazing. Hey, look, here's a great great example of some of the stuff that needs to be done. Some of the stuff that needs to be done. Soil health, animal welfare, and social fairness, living wages, good working conditions, freedom of association, fair payment for farmers, encourage them to maybe use more sustainable methods by incentivizing that, incentivizing things like hemp over the traditional plastic, shifting through lies that the industry has told us. The one that really gets me is the whole recycling thing. The whole recycling thing really gets me because that was a lie sold to us by the plastic industry. So sift through those, continue to push back on false narratives regarding climate change, continue to advocate for economically and ecologically sustainable systems. This is the only way. I'm not shilling, but Sunset Lake CBD truly got me into using more hemp products and natural alternatives. Yeah, there you go. Incentivize things like that. I know Nomiki and I think the Majority Report have that going on there. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be done in terms of advocating and getting people aware. Yeah, we can use glass alternatives. Sure. Is it cellulose-based biodegradable? Yeah, hey, look, the technology exists, folks. The technology exists. We need to build the political momentum because this isn't gonna just happen, okay? This isn't just gonna happen. We need to build the political momentum by making people aware, getting your community organized. Talk to them, talk to people, put posters on your little community board if you live in a apartment complex. Things like that. Things that create content to fight against narratives that are anti-climate change and anti-climate. These and pay attention to your local elections. Okay, participate in city council meetings and stuff like that. Find out what's going on. Find out what's going on in your local and state governments. Okay. because the change happens from the bottom up, right? The reason why we're gonna get, and I suspect that this might happen at some point, the reason why we're gonna get drug decriminalization or drug legalization, especially for marijuana, is because there are more and more states who are taking the stance of moving in the direction of decriminalization and legalization. It's getting more momentum because people are paying attention to local ballot initiatives that are happening in these states. So it's possible that we could do a similar game plan with climate change. Which is worse, plastic or styrofoam? I don't know. I think styrofoam is bad. Glad this work is being done. Yeah, so we have the technology. There's no, this isn't like something out of this world where we just, oh guys, hey, listen, we really can't fix this problem. There are alternatives that we can do right now to begin to move in the right direction. Failure to do so will lead to a lot of will lead to catastrophe. Styrofoam is just a plastic commonly foamed up for packaging. Yeah, I don't know which one is worse, to be honest. I think they're both bad. I think that there's already alternatives available that need to be incentivized. It's just, this is unacceptable, and if we don't address this, it's going to be bad. The worry is that this water is coming into direct contact with the underside of the ice shelf at the point where the ice tongue and shallow seafloor meet. Yeah, that's not good. This is the last stronghold for the Thwaites, and once it unpins from the seabed at its very front, there's nothing else for the ice shelf to hold on to. That warm water is also likely gonna mixing in and around the grounding line deep into the cavity. That means the glacier is also being attacked at its feet where it's resting on the solid rock. Yeah. So, as I said before, these things have domino effects. Take a look at this. The findings aren't the only troubling recent news to come to the west from West Antarctica. Exposure to warming water could also push Thwaites' neighboring Pine Island Glacier past the tipping point. So, yeah. The Thwaites and Pine Island glaciers are currently responsible for 10% of the ongoing increase in global sea levels. So, that in itself is already problematic, and we can start seeing how these domino effects pile up on top of each other. Thank you so much for stopping by. You have a good day, Mugwum. Thank you, I appreciate you stopping by. Decriminalization of drugs reduces prison population, reduces cost of prison maintenance, reduces taxes to pay for them, rehabs sick people, and helps them into productive tax-paying people. Yeah, I think that, I've always said that it's just better to decriminalize and, decriminalize to, at the very least, and legalize drugs simply for the fact that this will have multiple positive impacts. And maybe by doing so, we can finally have the question of whether or not we can replace all these plastics with hemp. And it helps family cohesion. True. Yeah, it's true. For-profit prisons will not lobby. Lobbies will not like that. Yeah, for-profit prisons should not exist. Period. For-profit prisons should not exist. Period. I still can't believe that there is such a thing as a for-profit system for prisons. Unbelievable. Yeah, so no, clearly that's a problem. Yeah, insanity. Yeah. Yeah, the good news, hey, the good news is that we can more accurately tell, hey folks, the good news is that we can more accurately tell how effed we are. Okay? That's the good news. We'll be able to tell more accurately how effed we are and how much the timeline is regarding this. Excellent. Excellent. This data will help us better calculate ice melting in the future. With the help of new technology, we can improve the models and reduce the great uncertainty that now prevails around global sea level variations. Yeah. Hey, we can more accurately predict how effed we are. Excellent. Excellent. I'm kind of scared to click this, but we gotta do it.
Politicized these days. They more and more politicized these days. They openly endorsed Joe Biden for president. It was not a complete shock, but you saw Nature do the same thing. A bunch of these quote-unquote scientific magazines suddenly have a very strong political bent. Who could have predicted such a thing? Okay, there's a piece in Scientific American in which the magazine announces that they are no longer...
Hey, you do realize that in order for people to... In order for us to get any type of movement done within climate change, there needs to be some political will behind it. Yeah. And guess what? The Trump administration's climate policies were backpedaling us into... they were going to exacerbate the situation worse. Okay? So yeah, given those two choices, if I was a climate organization, I would be, although very tepid, or I guess not tepid, skeptical, I would still assume or think that the better outcome would be a Biden administration.
Longer going to use the term climate change. Instead, they're going to use the term climate emergency. Now, I was not aware that there's a scientific designation that amounts to emergency.
Wait.
There is such a thing in medicine, for example. There's like emergency medicine.
Wait.
Which is the person's going to die if you don't...
Wait, are we really arguing pedantic? Like, what?
Don't do something about it right now. But climate emergency, it's not as though a certain level of climate change occurring over the course of the century turns it from just change to emergency. This is a completely political designation. And by the way, I do not consider it a quote-unquote emergency if the climate were to warm 4 degrees Celsius over the course of the next century. I consider that a gradual change that human beings are going to have to adapt to with increased technological know-how.
I can't do it. I can't do it. Let's rewind that back for a second.
Over the course of the next century. And by the way, I do not consider it a quote-unquote emergency if the climate were to warm 4 degrees Celsius over the course of the next century.
If the climate warms to 4 degrees Celsius in a what did he say, quarter century?
If the climate were to warm 4 degrees Celsius over the course of the next century.
Over the course of the next century.
A gradual change that human...
If that happens, you do realize that is the worst case scenario. That is catastrophic if that happens, okay? We're actively trying to not have that, okay? We already blew past the 1.5, okay? And we're pretty much locked in for what, 3? For 3, I think? Yeah, just move. If we happen to reach 4 degrees Celsius, that is the worst scenario. I don't think he understands that. He's confidently wrong? Yeah. I don't think he understands what 4 degrees Celsius means. That is the worst case scenario, dude. That is not a gradual change. That is the worst scenario that we're trying to avoid. We're trying to mitigate that. Okay? God, this guy.
Human beings are going to have to adapt to.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to adapt to it. You know, everything else be damned. We're just gonna have to adapt to the new normal of possibly mass climate refugees, mass conflict over resources, mass starvation when we can't grow food if it reaches to that point of 4 degrees Celsius. Our oceans are going to be so acidified that we're not going to have fish, we're not going to have anything but jellyfish roaming around. Yeah, sure, we're going to have to adapt to that.
With increased technological know-how, as well as innovation, which
What innovation, my dude?
human beings have been doing for literally all of the history of humankind. Adaptation, we're really good at it.
Uh-huh.
Mitigation, not so much. In any case, science.
Oh, hey, so you know what? Throw out throw everything out the window. We don't want to hear it about mitigation or trying to do preventative measures. We don't want to hear that. We'll just react to it when it happens. This is exactly why the COVID response here was so terrible. Okay, this is why the COVID response here was so terrible. Instead of preventative measures, when the experts has told us, hey, you know, we should probably take this seriously. We should probably have these measures put in place. We reacted and adapted to the situation. And you know what? It's become more expensive. It's become more difficult to handle. And we are here a year later in not a good position until hopefully we can get the most herd immunity, right? So you made it more expensive, more difficult, and more painful by not listening to the experts, by not taking preventative measures at the beginning. Instead, now we're forced to adapt.
Scientific American now says that it is a scientific duty for them to call this a climate emergency, which is just a lie. It's just a way for them to create a certain level of alarmism that is unjustifiable.
Nope.
By the facts on the ground.
Nope. Nope. There's been plenty of studies that continue to happen, by the way. This isn't like, this isn't just some random one study, one off, two off. No, this has been a extensive, there's been extensive history when it comes to climate change study from decades, even from oil companies. They knew. Explain that one.
The fact is the economies around the world are growing at such a rapid clip that the amount of damage to be done to humankind on the basis of climate change is a small percentage of global GDP on an economic level. And in terms of actual human damage, we should be focused on how to mitigate that human damage, but we are not talking, as so many people have suggested, about billions of people dying or hundreds of millions of people dying or anything like that. We're not talking about tens of millions of people dying. We're not talking about probably millions of people dying through climate change directly.
Wait, we're not. Wait. Who is talking about this? Okay, the issue is, okay, so it sounds like a chipmunk, but slow down very slightly. Like the issue is if we don't mitigate, then we will have a situation. That we will have a situation where we'll have millions of people, climate refugees. We'll have problems growing food, which will cascade into problems where could result in conflicts. So there'll be people dying because they can't grow food, or fish for food, there'll be people dying because they'll have to, if a conflict will arise for food and water, which will result into more people dying. It turns out that, I know Ben Shapiro, it might blow his mind, but humans need water, my dude. If we don't have that, yeah, we will die. I don't understand. Incredible. Thank you for your wonderful wisdom, Ben Shapiro, on climate change. Thank you for your beautiful wisdom and your commentary on things you know nothing about. You absolutely know nothing about. Isn't the Bible Ben Shapiro's main source? Yeah, he didn't even post the source. Of course, Astral Storm. He didn't post the source. He didn't even bother saying, well, the study from blah 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 actually proves. Nope, he didn't even bother doing that. He probably wears a limited edition Koch brothers AirPod to get his info. True, as he's spouting his bullshit so hard he can be heard from the bunkers. So he can be frontline in the bunkers. Yep. This is like how some of these folks say COVID is fake and vaccine is bad so they can vaccine first since no one is getting it. Yeah. Right. Oh man, I wonder if there's literal fallout bunkers out there for all the uber rich to hide out in the apocalypse. There's a weird... There is a move for that some people have been doing to purchase, and prepping. Purchase and for prepping. Yeah, the New Zealand. There you go. I think Matt Bender went into this. Yeah, probably, I'm sure. But yeah, there's definitely a business for that. But as always, it doesn't matter how rich you are. It doesn't matter how wealthy you are. Climate change will come for you too. Maybe you'll last a little bit longer, but climate change will come for you too, in one way, shape, or the other. In one way, shape, or the other. The rich only matter when they're a group of humans. Yeah, exactly, Memo. In one way, shape, or another, climate change will come for you too. We can grow soy and lentils by artificial light and get most nutrients in our nuclear reactor bunkers. Yeah, so again, it doesn't matter how rich you are. It doesn't matter how powerful you are. Eventually, climate change will come for you too. So it is in your best interest to address this issue now. What they should fear is the uprising from hungry masses in the South. Yeah, as I was saying, Astral, one of the things that could potentially happen if we don't address this is when people start not being able to grow food, we will have massive climate refugees, and we will have the potential, or we will build paths for conflict to arise. Okay? Or conflicts over resources to arise. So yeah, it's gonna be a possibility that things like this may happen. And of course, this is taking the absolute worst case scenario, right? This is the absolute worst case scenario, where everything goes wrong. We do not change course. Everything that could go wrong does go wrong. We are seeing some very, very dark situations, if that happens. And Ben Shapiro says, if we do reach 4 degrees, that's not a problem. It's a gradual shift in the claiming. It's just gradual. 4 degrees Celsius is catastrophic, my friend. 3.5 C is the current trajectory of climate fixing. Yeah, and that's not good, okay? That will lead to some serious issues. And it will be worse if we do nothing, as Astral Storm just said. Yeah. Okay, folks. Let's, we've got just a couple more things to go through. Senate advances bill seeking to address hate crimes against Asian Americans. Okay, let's see what's up with that. A bill meant to address the rise of hate crimes and violence against Asian Americans during the COVID pandemic advanced the U.S. Senate on a bipartisan vote on Wednesday, but its future remains murky given tepid support from Republicans. The legislation introduced by Senator Mazie Hirono and Representative Grace Meng would expedite a federal review of coronavirus-related hate crimes and expand public reporting of such incidents, and provide guidance detailing the best practices to mitigate racially discriminatory language in describing the COVID pandemic. The vote began to the vote to begin the debate. Oh, so they're beginning the debate for the vote. Okay, Jesus, this is unbelievably frustrating how government works sometimes. So the vote to begin the debate was on a 92-6 vote. That is incredibly bipartisan. The six senators that voted against it, by the way, were all Republican. The Republicans only backed the initial vote on the condition they would have an opportunity to offer amendments, which, of course, by Senate rules, I think, of course, they're allowed to propose their amendments. Their continued support will ultimately depend on whether top Senate leaders can agree on which amendments the chamber will consider in the coming days. In consultation with the Republican leader, we can work together in agreement on other germane non-gotcha amendments to the bill if senators have them. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said in a floor speech on Wednesday, "We should be able to immediately try in earnest to reach a final solution to pass the bill through the Senate very soon. One amendment with bipartisan support is being offered by Senator Richard Blumenthal and Jerry Moran. Their bill, called the No Hate Act, would train law enforcement on investigating hate crimes, create a hate crimes hotline, and establish programs to rehabilitate perpetrators." Hey, look at that. I think that this might be a good idea. It would train law enforcement on investigating hate crimes, create a hate crimes hotline, and establish a program to rehabilitate perpetrators. Okay, you might sell me on that. You might be able to sell me on that, maybe. You gotta love voting about voting for a vote. Yep. The Dems can make it possible for them to not getting bored in this, but they refuse to message and play politics very well. True. How about police not committing hate crimes in the first place? Well, I mean, if a law enforcement officer behaves in that manner, then yeah, of course they should be charged. Yeah. But yeah, I think that the idea that we could, establish programs to rehabilitate perpetrators and try to reduce hate crimes is important. Okay? Is important, especially, as we see the rise in hate crimes against Asian Americans. Yeah, I think that it's important. Unlike Blumenthal-Moran measure, however, Hirono's bill includes specific references to COVID and a definition some GOP senators would like to broaden. It seems to say that hate crime has to be linked to COVID, which is rather odd. Well, I mean, okay, so the reason why any of this is being brought up, okay, is because there have been plenty of cases where Asian Americans, Aronok with the party of 9, oh my goodness, hey, how's it going, everybody? Everybody should be following Aronok if you guys haven't already. Please, check them out. Please follow Carpet Packs, please follow Aronok, please follow Heat420_ and AliOakshare. Aronok with the tier 1 subscription, 5 months. Thank you so much, I appreciate that. Wow, coming in hot. Welcome everybody. Yeah, so the reason why they even mentioned this is because, well, there have been numerous cases where, unfortunately, Asian Americans have been assaulted and being called That's right, the Chinese virus, as they were getting assaulted. So, yeah. Yeah. There's a reason why that whole thing was brought together in the first place, was brought up in the first place. Alio with the 16 biddies, thank you so much. I subscribe in 6-month chunks. Well, thank you, I appreciate that. I really appreciate the support. Thank you guys. I mean, that's the reason why it was brought up, folks. I'm gonna go sleep because my sleep schedule is actively backwards. Not a problem. I hope you're doing all right. Get some rest, Airnock, and get some sleep. Yeah, that's the only reason that was brought up. Okay. Other Republicans, meanwhile, have expressed concerns about a provision in Hirono's bill that would offer guidance in states how to mitigate racially discriminatory language. Controversial amendments, if offered, could ultimately sink the bill. Hirono said Republicans have offered 20 amendments so far, though they aren't all likely to receive a vote. Some of them have absolutely nothing to do with the bill. Yeah. Yeah, I agree that some type of measure needs to be done to reduce hate crimes of this manner, or at least like focus the resources that we have, because like there are laws on the book where you get the I guess sentencing is harsher if you add hate crime on top of it. So there are already laws in place to deal with some of this. I just think that it's probably better if we deploy what we have effectively, and also I think that, you know, making sure that people understand why this is wrong, okay, is a good effort, right? Making people understand why it's wrong to attack people based on their race, ethnicity, you know, race, ethnicity, orientation, gender, all of the above, you know, why that's wrong, okay? So a rehabilitative approach, programs to rehabilitate perpetrators is also, I think, important, because you need to make sure people understand why it's wrong to target people based on how they look, or orientation, or, you know, race, as I was saying, gender, you know, things like this, right? You can't do that, okay? You can't attack people based on these things. But the Hawaii senator indicated her willingness to make changes to her bill, but she defended the reason why it was introduced, namely the rise of hate crimes against Asian Americans that accelerated under President Trump. It really came to the forefront during COVID, and having a president calling it a China virus, so I think it led to an increase in these kind of attacks. That's why there's a framing to remind us, how did this happen? Yeah, to a degree, yes, this is why it's being brought up, okay? Because, again, there have been plenty of of situations where, unfortunately, there's been assaults against Asian Americans, as they're called the Chinese virus, and being assaulted. Yeah, that's a problem. Unbelievable. Sorry about that, folks. I just needed to make sure my my work computer is up and running. I forgot to turn it on last night. Okay. All right, folks. It is, oh my goodness, 11 already? Jesus. I actually forgot my shill session, so I'll take a quick second to shill. Folks, if you enjoyed the channel and you enjoy the content, make sure you hit that follow button. Make sure you head on over to our YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button. It really does help us out. Like the stream, do all the cool stuff. And my premium call to action. My premium call to action that I always ask everybody to do is spread the word far and wide that this is the chillest place to be for news and politics. Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. This is the place to be. So spread the word far and wide. Chill not the science guy. This is the chillest place to be. So spread the word far and wide. Everyone and anyone. This is the chillest place to be for news and politics. And of course, if you wish to support the channel, there are many ways. Sub, bits, donos, and merch. All of that is much appreciated. You guys are what makes this channel grow, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys. Yes, thank you. I appreciate that, Marzi. Which I will say everybody should be following. Marzi Motes. Everybody should be following Heat, Carpet Packs, Aeronok. These are all wonderful, wonderful people. Wonderful people. You are a gem. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Your comments are, or you can call me Justin. Okay, go follow Justin, folks. Thank you. This love really, I appreciate that. Alio, sure. Please follow them as well. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with this bill. I think that you know, it might be a good thing. So we'll see what happens with that. All right, folks. This one was posted on the Discord, which I sometimes eat oats with a little cream and sugar. Nice. This was posted on the Discord, so if you guys also want to join the wonderful community, yeah, I know and I see you guys. Y'all better be following. Y'all better be following. Or else. This was also posted on the Discord, which you guys can absolutely join and come hang out with us. We are here. Oops, that's not how you spell Discord. This was posted on the Discord. So now that we have sound, new guy named
Continuing
Pac-Man.
to learn more about the, I was going to say the investigation, but the multiple investigations into Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz, and it is every day becoming clearer and clearer how serious this is. We learned today that Matt Gaetz's iPhone has been seized by federal agents, but not recently. It actually was seized some time ago. This has been going on for a while. This is very, very serious. The Huffington Post reporting. New reports on the federal sex trafficking investigation into Congressman Matt Gaetz, Republican of Florida, have revealed more details about the extent of the probe, including the seizure of his iPhone by federal agents over the winter and an associate's cooperation against him since last year. Gaetz' cell phone was seized when federal agents executed a search warrant, citing interviews with 3 people who were told of the matter by the congressman. Politico was able to report this. The congressman changed his number late last year. His former girlfriend's phone was also reportedly seized. In another development indicating Gaetz' intensifying predicament, Gaetz' associate
thanks
Joel
for the
Greenberg
follow,
has
Team
reportedly been
Poop.
providing information since last year to investigators, according to the
What
New
a-
York Times.
what a
So that's another piece.
bizarre
We learned, I guess it
username,
was
but I
late last week,
appreciate
that Joel Greenberg
appreciate that.
was now working with investigators. The New York Times has now learned that Joel Greenberg has actually been working with investigators for some time. Joel Greenberg's lawyer was asked last week, did your client, Joel Greenberg, introduce Matt Gaetz to underage girls? And there was not a no from Joel Greenberg's attorney, although he didn't answer much one way or the other. Greenberg has said to investigators he and Gaetz had sexual encounters with women in exchange for cash.
It's too
and gifts.
fast? No, I think
The
he
investigation,
talks
of course,
slow.
is now becoming increasingly public, but it has been taking place for some time. The Justice Department is also said to be investigating Greenberg's and Gaetz' involvement with multiple women who were recruited online for sex in exchange for cash payments. As a reminder, the Huffington Post article notes it was previously reported Greenberg was likely on the verge of cooperating with prosecutors. At this point in time, It is abundantly clear. There is also a CNN report about the details of these anything involving Gates. I call it strange because Gates is involved. But without going into too many details that are maybe not relevant from the standpoint of politics, partygoers and attendees at some of these strange events have talked about how they would often show up at an event with Matt Gaetz, and there would be cocaine and ecstasy and sex and all sorts of different things. And of course, none of these things individually are really the issue. The bigger picture here is the idea that there was some kind of cash for sex prosecution across state lines, including with minors. That's really where the bulk of this
that's
issue
where we
is.
begin
We don't
to
even really know at this point all of the
Yeah.
other possible crimes that may be part of this, but the investigation is ongoing and it's not looking particularly good for Matt Gaetz. Now, it was reported late last week that Matt Gaetz had hired one of Donald Trump's various attorneys to represent him. I don't know that a Trump attorney is really going to cut it, given the depth of what Matt Gaetz appears to be involved in here. Matt Gaetz' approach, basically for the 2 weeks since this broke, has been to minimize the seriousness of the investigation and to suggest that the investigation is merely politically
David has good hair.
motivated
Yeah,
and nothing
I'll
else.
give him that.
At this point, the investigations are so wide-ranging, they've been going on for so long, and they involve so many different people that it would be a very silly way to carry out a political hit job against Matt Gaetz. You wouldn't do it this way. You wouldn't do it in a way where there's so much involving other people, other already plea deals that, for example, Joel Greenberg already accepting a plea deal is just not the way that it would work. This also, I think it's important to mention, sheds new light onto the pardon that Matt Gaetz supposedly asked Donald Trump for. Now, I told you last week that Donald Trump has denied having been asked for a pardon by Matt Gaetz, although the sourcing on the stories claiming Gaetz asked for the pardon are very good. My best explanation for how this could all be true, as I mentioned earlier this week, is that Matt Gaetz has one of his associates sort of feel out a pardon with people around Donald Trump. The people around Trump could easily say, Gaetz is not getting a pardon. It never actually gets to Trump. It never actually gets to the point of Donald Trump saying, no, it's merely made clear between staffers that it's not going to happen. Seems a completely plausible way in which basically all of the reporting is true, at least in some way. A very possible outcome here, we're all talking about...
So that he can stand trial?
Will he be arrested? Will he be charged? Is Gaetz going to go to prison? With a lot of these guys, and it is guys that it happens with.
I haven't watched
possible
Deepak Man in a
outcome
while.
is Gaetz has some kind of come to Jesus moment. He resigns, or maybe not, but he says he's entering some kind of program,
12-step program?
Who knows? Sex Addicts Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous. He's going to work on himself. Maybe he doesn't even resign, but maybe he does. And then he comes back and says he found Jesus and he's been saved and all of this stuff. It seems completely plausible to me that that's the direction it could go. Of course, everyone is innocent until proven guilty. Matt Gaetz hasn't even been charged at this point, and I have no, I'll get emails saying, David, how dare you say Gaetz should go to prison? I haven't said that once. The first step would be, let's see if Gaetz is charged. Hasn't happened yet. If he is, then we will go to the next step.
Right.
One of our sponsors...
Show on your own time, okay? Only I'm allowed to show here. Not for people dying, but I think he's too much of a coward. You think so? I don't know. I think that he's... I don't know. I think he'll be... if he does, obviously move in the direction where he's actually charged and things go to trial, I think that dude is... I have a feeling that if things go the way they're continuously to go, because, who knows, right? Who knows what stage the investigation is. We're only hearing about this now. The investigation has happened even, I think, towards the end of December 2020, right? So we're just hearing about this now. We'll see what exactly is going on there. But I think that if things are the way they are, it's looking not good for Matt Gaetz, okay? It's not looking good. Yeah, if things proceed in this manner, it ain't looking good, folks. Democrats to introduce a bill to expand the Supreme Court from 9 to 13 justices. Congressional Dems will introduce legislation Thursday to expand the Supreme Court from 9 to 13 justices, joining progressive activists pushing to transform the court. The move intensifies a high-stake ideological fight over the future of the court after President Trump and Republicans appointed 3 conservative justices in 4 years, including one who was confirmed days before the 2020 election. Yeah, that was wrong. That was wrong. It's literally worse than being a serial killer to most inmates. Yeah, former Republican House representative in federal prison for chat subjects. Literally worse. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. Hey, Claydonius. Gates will get Jeffreyed if he ends up in prison. Who knows? Unless he knows some other important stuff that he's not supposed to blurt out. I don't know. Nah, we're getting into conspiratorial stuff. In terms of Matt Gaetz, he made it the investigation or the incidents may have just been him and his buddies in Florida. Who knows? Maybe no connection to that whatsoever. I'd say first, let's do the investigation. Yeah, hey, if he did it, I hope he doesn't get away with it. If he absolutely did it, stands trial, and I hope he doesn't get away with it. Yeah, 100%. No, that's not good. That's not good. That's weird, disgusting. It's already weird and disgusting as it is. The Democratic bill is led by Senator Ed Markey of Massachusetts and Jerry Nadler of New York, the chair of the House Judiciary Committees. It's co-sponsored by Representative Hank Johnson of Georgia and Mondare of New York. The Supreme Court can be expanded by an act of Congress, but the legislation is highly unlikely to become law in the near future, given the Democrats' slim majorities, which includes a score of lawmakers who are not on board with the idea. President Biden said he is not a fan of packing the court, but it represents an undercurrent of progressive fury at the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell for denying a vote in 2016 to President Barack Obama's pick to fill a vacancy. Now, okay, hot take, folks. I know that this is going to be like, maybe not like hot, but like jalapeno spicy take, okay? This is going to be like a jalapeno spicy take. I kind of agree with Bernie Sanders' previous statements. I don't know if he said anything on this at the time, but I agree with his previous statements that I don't want to set a dangerous path, in terms of like a perpetual Supreme Court battle where, you know, they expand it now and then the Republicans get power and they expand it now and then they expand. Like, it could set off a terrible chain reaction that I feel will do more harm in the long run to us than it will fix things, right? Because at the very core of what I believe is trying to do the most amount of good for the most amount of people. And I feel like even though this is seemingly on the surface a way of temporarily maybe remedying some issues, it isn't guaranteed. Like, cases don't just end up at the Supreme Court. So just magically snapping your fingers and increasing the Supreme Court would remedy these issues is not exactly the case. And I feel that the negative impacts in the future will be worse. Do you think that the Repubs would ever get controlled again if the Dems did things that helped people? I mean, if they actually focused on that, hey, then that would put the onus on the Republican Party to step it up. Okay? If Dems did things that helped people and actually began to address meaningful issues, yeah, that would probably be where the priorities should be shifting, right? That would be where the priorities should be shifting, right? Because, like, the Republicans thought that by them having the majority court, that they would be able to just get away with things, right? It doesn't quite work that way, as I've learned, okay? And believe me, I was concerned, and I still am a little bit concerned with the way the Republican Party maneuvered their way into making sure that the court was a majority conservative. And I was incredibly concerned that they would use that. However, it seems to me like there are better ways, politically, strategically, to improve things with the slim majority that you have as it is. I think you should be spending your political capital into pushing things that will actually help people on the ground. Okay? Doing this here is going to first set off a chain reaction that I think will eventually come back and hit us worse. Okay? And hit us worse. In the long run, I think. And I agree with Bernie Sanders' original position that, you know, setting this chain reaction would be bad. We'll definitely take action to prevent Dems from expanding the court once they are in power again, so ending the filibuster is important. I mean, like, yeah, sure. That you may have like arguments for that, but I don't know. Like, I think that the political capital should be spent doing other things. And I think that moving in this direction will lead to more harm than actual good. And I'm just worried that all of this is going to cycle back and hit us worse. My fear is that the Dems don't take action now. We know that the Republicans definitely will take action to prevent the Dems from expanding the courts. Well, like, I don't think the Republicans are interested in expanding the courts. But if we set that dangerous precedent, they will. And then we're uber effed. Okay? If we set that dangerous precedent, that is going to recoil in a way we don't want to, I think, in my opinion. Maybe that's a jalapeno level spicy take, but I don't think that we should be moving in this direction. I think that there are better things that we need to focus on. I think that there are better things that we need to focus on in terms of making sure we can do meaningful changes on the ground. On one hand, I appreciate the idea of being merciful, and the Republicans let us know straight up that there will be no mercy and fairness, so it's really tough. Yeah, I mean, are jalapenos spicy there? They are, to me anyways. I appreciate the idea of being merciful, but the Republicans, it's not about being merciful. It's like, we don't want to be necessarily that, you know, I'm in favor for having a little bit, like, strong action in terms of, like, Majority Leader Chuck Schumer could you know, get the Dems to fall in line better, because Mitch McConnell certainly never had that problem to get some stuff done. But I don't know. I think that this might be this might move in the direction of more dangerous and more harm at the end of the day. I don't know. Republicans always pull the trigger first and then admonish the Dems when they even discuss it. Yeah, if the Republicans do this, then we should be there immediately. Boom. Hey, what are you doing? It would only further if it was the other way around, and it would be the Republicans approaching it in this way. That's dangerous. So why would we give credence to that? Yeah, there are other ways we can do stuff. Cal L looks at budget reconciliation in the parliamentarian. Yeah, there are ways we can. There are still levers that there can be pressed if we if we want to do stuff with the slim majority that we have in the time that we have, and if we don't focus the if the Democratic Party has any interest in winning, they will spend every single cent of political capital to try to meaningfully improve the material conditions of people. That's where all the focus needs to be. Yes, maybe through budget conciliation, maybe through doing stuff with the filibuster, maybe continuously to actually listen to the people, maybe, and see what popular legislation is happening or what people want. Maybe doing that. Just saying. Many from both parties demanding co-administration for past section. Just do the same for Clarence Thomas and Brett Kavanaugh. Get rid of both for their behavior. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen, Exeter. I mean, clearly, thanks to the Trump administration, there's no real any care for that. I mean, there's no incentive. Nah, in any other era that would have been career ending, but unfortunately, yeah, that's where we are right now. But I do think that there are ways that we can maneuver political capital that does not get us into this type of hot water. I don't think that this is the right the right move. Okay? I don't think that this is the right move. And maybe that's a spicy take. Maybe I don't know, but I just think that right now, it's seeing things down the line. I'm not okay with this, and I'm not comfortable with the fact that once this sets off, it's going to come back, because it's going to be, first of all, weaponized immediately by the Republican Party, and then when they are in power, considering the fact that the Democratic Party at this point is not doing very well in addressing people's needs, that backlash in 2022 could lead to a sweep, okay? Could lead to a GOP sweep, and then what? And then what? Yeah, I know, Alio. I know. It's so shocking that only that Trump win, but he was able to get 3 SCOTUSs in there. It's like we're being punished. Yeah, we got to keep doing things with the levers that we have while we still have the chance to do meaningful change, right? That's what we should be focusing on. And yes, as I said before, just because the Biden administration won does not mean everything is good, okay? That's when the fight begins. Alright folks, unfortunately it is 11:28. I do have to get going. Thank you all so much for hanging out today. I appreciate all of you guys being here. Thank you so much for all the raiders. Thank you Aronok, thank you Carpet for the massive raids. I appreciate it. Thank you for all the follows. Thank you guys for being here. You guys are what makes this channel grow. I appreciate all of you guys being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We are here Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. If you enjoyed the channel, make sure you hit that follow button on your way out. We're going to head on over to Ben's channel. Let's continue this chill vibe, okay? Let's head on over to Ben. You have a good day. I'm okay with burning everything down, expanding the courts. Statehoods, redistricting. Yeah, well, that's not burning everything down, but yeah, statehood for DC, things like that, fine. I'm completely okay with that. I'm just not, I don't know about the courts expanding. Ooh, either way, folks, thank you guys so much. You guys are what makes this go. I appreciate you. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next stream. See ya. Stay safe, folks. Alright, folks, we're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.